Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome to our match reaction for Celtic 3, Dundee United 0. Another win for Celtic, which puts us, 16 points clear at the top of the Scottish Premiership for the time being. A huge win for Celtic, a huge result ahead of that visit to Munich on Tuesday night. And talking about Munich, I've got a flight not too long from now to Munich, so I've still got to pack and I've left it last minute. You know what that's like. So let's get this match reaction over and done with. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. You know what to do by now. It would be much appreciated. What a win for Celtic this afternoon in the Scottish Premiership. A 3-0 victory over third place Dundee United. And I think one of the biggest observations I took from today is just how good this Celtic side is at the minute. Let me just cut to the chase. I'm not going to beat around the bush or use all the superlatives to cover how good this Celtic team is. But this is a Celtic team who I thought barely got out of first gear today and went to play the team third in our league table and made it look routine and made it look so easy. And when you consider how we played the last time we took on Dundee United at Tannadice when they took points off us. Granted, was that even the last time we played them? I feel like all we've done is play the Dundee teams. I can't keep track of Dundee United and Dundee home and away because I've played them that much. But you remember when we went to Tannadice, they made it a really difficult game. They could have won the game. We were really poor. And then you compare that with today's performance. It just shows you the stride that we are in at the minute and how every player is pulling their weight. That was a B team effectively out for Celtic, and it's terrible to call them a B team. It doesn't, because in a way it isn't a B team. It's still a great side. But we rotated so much. We have two players in every position. We went out there with Wednesday, a very intense game just behind us, and with Tuesday, a very important game just ahead of us. And we went out, and as I said, it looked as though we didn't even have to get out of first gear. We just controlled the game. We dominated it from start to finish. And it's a side that Brendan Rodgers just has ticking. And just has playing so well at the minute. I can't describe in enough words how good this Celtic team is. In fact, as I was driving home, listening to the Super Scoreboard from Celtic Park this afternoon, one of the callers, shout out to Laurie and Carntine, was calling up to say it might be the best Celtic side he's seen since Martin O'Neill. From Martin O'Neill's debut season back in 2000-2001. And it's hard to argue that at the minute, because that's how good this Celtic team's playing. It's a Celtic team that is well on its way to potentially winning a treble, that's 16 points, clear at the top of the table on the 15th of February. And a Celtic side that's very much keeping themselves alive in the knockout stages of the Champions League. We go over to Munich only 2-1 down. So, I mean, this is such a good team. We have signed well. We have got players that maybe we didn't expect to be so good, playing really well. And just, yeah, we're just in a great position. A fantastic position. Dundee United just didn't have any answers to the questions today. In fact, I can't remember one instance in the game where I thought Dundee United offered any threat. And that's not a diss on Dundee United. And that's me saying that with all due respect to them. But that's the defence of Celtic that's doing that. So we're doing it at both ends of the park. We're doing it defensively, we're doing it offensively. And I know that you've got to balance that line, haven't you? You've got to balance that line between, well, this is what Celtic should be doing at Celtic Park. Doesn't matter if you're playing Dundee United, doesn't matter if you're playing Rangers, doesn't matter if you're playing St Johnstone, doesn't matter if you're playing Raith Rovers or fucking Cowden Beef. You should be winning at all your games at Celtic Park. Of course, this is standard procedure. But the manner in how you do it sometimes deserves to be admired and it deserves to be praised. And right now, that is what we're watching with this Celtic team. So, yeah, we've got a few things to cover from today's game. As I said, I want to kind of wrap it up quite quickly so I can get myself packed for Munich. Let's try and go from the start, shall we? We were so close with the starting 11 prediction yesterday. So close. 10 out of 11. I thought that Liam Scales might have played alongside Vickers, but he stuck with Vickers and Trusty, which I think is a much smarter route to go down. And I don't mean that with any disrespect towards Liam Scales. I just think ahead of the Bayern Munich game, when you're going to be playing Vickers and Trusty, it's probably best to just keep that partnership together. Scales will probably come back into the team next week. I can see him getting minutes in the next couple of league games. But for now, fine with it. It was a good team. You can see the rotation on show. Very happy to see Luke McCowan back in the team. Very happy to see a few of the other changes. Jeffrey Schlupp coming into the team and starting for the first time. And of course, seeing Jota start at Celtic Park is something that I will happily watch from now till the end of time. So I was happy with the team that went out there, and straight from the get-go, we were hungry. We were the top dogs in the game. We were creating chances. We were making things happen. A lot of the passing and movement from the team was was brilliant. But as I said, it felt like we didn't even need to shift out of that first gear. We were just doing things casually, but while holding Dundee United hostage to the chances we were creating. We get our first goal through Callum McGregor. It's a fantastic strike. Yet again, the captain, who is just having a season to remember, isn't he? I don't know how else to word it other than that. He's just having one of the best seasons he's had in a Celtic shirt. Opens the scoring. Yang with another assist. And that's what the thing is with a Celtic team at the minute. Just to talk about that for a second. Goals are coming from everywhere, and that's what's so impressive. We worried about Kyogo leaving the club, and don't worry, I'm going to come on to talk about Adam Ida in this, because I really do want to talk about Ida and give him his flowers. But, with Kyogo leaving, you've got the reassurance, especially domestically, that you're going to find those goals elsewhere. You're going to get goals from McGregor, you're going to get goals from McCowan, you're going to get goals from Ida, Maida, Kyogo, Jota, and all these different players. They're just scoring from anywhere on the pitch, whether it's a long-range strike or a tap-in. That's the way that we've managed to manufacture our football this season, and I think that I can agree with the Clyde one caller that I mentioned earlier in saying this might be some of the best football I've ever seen as a Celtic fan, and we deserve to give Brendan his flowers for that, because this was the same manager who was called out last year for the boring football and things being so stale and not having the right approach in these sorts of games in particular. We were going to these Saturday 3 o'clocks against the likes of, Dundee United weren't in the league, of course, but teams in similar positions, and it was just stale. It was horrid to watch for the opening 6-7 months of the season. It's just night and day. And I think that's because the team have grew to trust him, and he's obviously trusting them with everything they do. So, yeah, we're getting goals from everywhere. McGregor puts us in the lead. Another assist for Yang, who once again I thought looked sharp today and took... maybe not the best of his opportunity. I think he could have done more, but certainly started the game and gave us something. So, he's keeping the conversation alive for keeping him in the summer. Jota's just so special. Let's just skip to Jota's goal. We're not here for the rest of the other shite, are we? We're here to talk about Jota. And what a strike. What a goal from him, by the way. Just sheer brilliance. And he was so unlucky in the game not to have more goals, or at least more goal contributions. Goals and assists were something that could have fell a lot more often for him in this game, I think. But, the pass from Trusty into Jota and then for him to finish it like that, it's just a reminder of the player we have. His first goal at Celtic Park since returning to the club. A very special moment for him, a very special moment for the fans. I was standing and just pure awe of him, applauding away as he celebrated, thinking, how have we managed to get this lad back? One of the most talented, and I'll use the word special, Celtic players I've seen in my lifetime. And that goal today really just summarises all of it. And there was a moment in the game as well where he should have got an assist, and you seen him just toying around with Dundee United's right back, and you just think how special and the things he can do. He's proper magic with the ball. It's glued to his feet. And I said this when he was here this first time. I truly do believe he is technically a level above anybody in this country. I genuinely don't think that there is a player that matches his technical ability or comes close in the whole of Scotland. And I mean on a Celtic team, I mean on a Rangers team, I mean anybody. He is the best footballer in this country when it comes to technical ability. He looks like, how when we welcome sides like Bayern and Real to Celtic Park and we watch these world-class players and we go, the things that we look at them and go, wow. Because the things that they can do with the ball are unbelievable. It's like the ball is glued to their feet. The passing, the touch, the first touch and everything else. Jota's one of those players. Genuinely. I don't know how it didn't work out for him at Rennes. I know that the manager wasn't really a big fan of him or whatever. They've lost it. And the Rennes fans were raging when they sold him back to us. And rightly so, because what a talented footballer. And I'm so glad he's here. But what a goal. He was man of the match. And it was right up there in the man of the match conversation, of course. He played really, really well. And it was a great first half performance while getting to rest a lot of the big hitters that will be involved on Tuesday night. I think we can all be honest in admitting the second half isn't a huge conversation we have to have. Celtic done well at just keeping the game in their hands and controlling possession while keeping the tempo at a level that doesn't really waste too much of our energy going into Tuesday. but while also still giving a right good go at it. It's not as if we downed tools or gave up or anything, no, but we certainly, you could see we were taking a more reserved approach to the game. There's no point going out there and wasting the batteries down or risking any injury. You know, it's the last thing you want to see is anybody pull up. And a lot of players obviously still want to make a case to start that game on Tuesday night who might not be surefire to start the game. But that was one of just the biggest things I took away. The fact that we managed to keep the game at that pace in the second half, yet still look so dominant. Just a real testament to how far ahead we are at the minute in this country. And people who don't support Celtic will come on and say that's a bad thing. Might be for you. For us, it's great. I love it personally. Keep it up. Did you hear that? It was a very satisfying plop of a sound. No, I honestly, just keep it up. And we just toyed with them. The substitutions were great. I thought defensively we still looked good. I mean, you know, Ryan McGinley worded it very well on Twitter, actually. So credit to Ryan, former Celtic the Thunder podcaster. But you know, when Maeda's coming on the park and doing back heels and all the rest of it, you just know that we're playing some great football and that there's no stresses domestically at the minute. And people will say that that's maybe a bad thing. That's the kind of thing that creeps up on you and causes complacency. The difference is when you have a manager like Brendan Rodgers, when you have a captain like Callum McGregor, when you have staff there like John Kennedy who are serial winners and players who are serial winners with attitudes that never stop, there's no fear of complacency creeping in. And I think you could see that in that second half. In a game where I think Dundee United really could have got something out of the game if they just dug deep, Celtic wouldn't let them dig deep. So that's the thing. There's no complacency that exists within this side. In the second half, as I said, we just completely dominated. Adam Ida. Could everybody who tried to come into my comment section for the first few months of the season saying that Ida was garbage and that we wasted £9 million on him, please stand up and say it louder. What a striker and what a player. Yet another, I can't believe that I need to utter these words, but another example as to why you do not make your judgments of players after a few bad months or a few bad games. Adam Ida is a terrific player, and I'm genuinely so delighted to see him starting every week. I love him. I think we're fine without Kyogo at the minute, and I think a big part of that is the reason that Ida has stepped up big time since he's left. We've seen the best of Adam Ida this season since Kyogo has left. Obviously, the best of Adam Ida was on show for the second half of last season. So as I said in the podcast last week, maybe he's just a second half of the season guy. I don't know what it is, but he's been brilliant. And that goal today, what a finish. Unbelievable from big Adam Ida. And you hear the chat. Listen, if you're still a hater on Adam Ida and you still insist that he's bad enough, I just feel like you're way off on it. There's a reason that the stadium and the Green Brigade and so many others today are singing 3 different chants for him, variations of chants, because he's somebody who deserves him. He's great. And I think he's just getting better and better as the starts come and the minutes keep going. And yeah, I love him. Great goal. Great way to finish the game. 3-0, up the road. Now it's into Munich. Of course you've got to do a job and not getting too carried away with just a simple domestic win at Celtic Park, because it's what you're expected to do. It's the bare minimum. But you can do that while also being very impressed about the football you see and some of the performances you see, which everybody in the park today pleased me. Not a bad performance. Jeffrey Schlupp looked great. Big fan of him. Thought he looked good. Think he's made a conversation as to whether or not you start him on Tuesday, to be honest. And yeah, just a great day. Great day, great win. 16 points clear. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Right, I'll see yous in Germany, boys. Like and subscribe. And girls, of course. We're an inclusive channel here, you know. I'll see yous in Germany. Take care. Guten Nacht. And I'll see you all next time.